This is my first video, so what's good, y'all? Come on, this Prince Aladdin, man. How y'all doing today, man? Welcome to the first video, man. A lot of YouTubers don't do shit like this, man, but I just want to say welcome to the first video. You know what I mean? My name's Aladdin. Welcome to the channel. On this channel, you're gonna be experiencing a whole bunch of versatile type content on here. I'm gonna be posting a lot of things, man. Next video you're gonna see of me probably gonna be a similar video to this one, because I really find enjoyment in talking about things like this, or either like a vlog, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be very versatile on this channel, man. But without any further ado, man, welcome to the channel, man. Make sure to press that subscribe button, make sure to press that post notification button, like the video, comment it, man. Do whatever it takes to get me on the algorithm and all that other shit I do not understand, to be quite frank with you. But hey, man, let's get into the video, man. Today we're talking about responsible choice and how to have more responsibility in your life, right? And this is more of an internal factor, because if anything that is disrupting you outside of yourself, externally, right? It's not necessarily about what is happening, it's about what is and your conceptualization of what it is. You know what I mean? Like the perception you have towards something. There is a big gap between when something happens, as in, for example, a family member dies, or you lose all this money, or you just broke up with your girl. You know, your friends end up being snakes or toxic people, right? You know, whatever fits your current scenario, right? There's a big gap between that shit happening in the way you react, in the way you see it, and your perspective on it, and the way you handle it. It's not about what happens, it's about how you handle it. That is exactly why you need responsibility, because it's not about what happens, it's about how you handle it. That is, among many other factors, one of the most definite answers to find out who you really are as a human being. The uncertainty of certain circumstances and how you deal with them. And there's a big gap. And today, I'm going to be talking about how to react to certain circumstantial events. And this could be very universal to your own specific dilemma. Oh, it might be about females or something. You got friend zone, you got, ghosted, you know what I mean? You got cheated on, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, this can help you out, because there's no coincidence that you're clicking on this video. Not clicking, excuse me. I meant that you clicked on this video. There's no coincidence that you have, because this is my first video. I just made this channel and I just uploaded this. And at a certain time, at this certain place, wherever you are right now, you clicked on this video. So I know this video is meant just for you. You have to understand this though. Due to certain parts of our human behavior, we have frightened parts of our personality. We have parts of our personality that are fearful, that are angry, that are jealous and envious and sad, and just repels people away from us. And if we let those personality traits consume us, we can never move past the futile and frivolous events that happen to us. The same thing will occur over and over and over and over again until we learn the lesson, right? Basically, I've been reading this book, man, and I suggest you go get it yourself if you want to learn more about authentic power. You know what I mean? Having control over your own mind, taking responsibility, and not only taking responsibility, because as much as responsible people admit they are responsible, they still do make foolish decisions. Every human on earth has made foolish decisions. But with this book right here, I'm going to explain to you how to prevent foolish decisions And not only how to prevent, but to be responsible and be more mindful of foolish decisions. Because you can make a very stupid mistake. You could be in such a futile and frivolous argument with someone. You could be in such a frivolous and futile event. You know what I mean? And what I mean by frivolous and futile is that it is pointless. It has the least amount of significance. Whatever happens to you, you have the capability of turning that L into a W. Not by the way it is, but by the way you respond to it and by the way you react. The most noblest victory you could ever win is the one over your own self. And that's why you need to take more responsibility, man. Without any further ado, I'm finna explain you some steps, some guides, and some formulas to everything I just said, man. So look, my bad if the camera looks weird. It's just the way I got it set up. I don't have a proper stand for the camera, and also that it's on my bed, so it might be a little bit tilted. So you say my apologies for that if it does look weird. But look, like I said at the start, we have frightened parts of our personality: anger, fear, envy, sadness, jealousy. We have frightened parts of our personality. And sometimes the frightened parts of our personalities want different circumstances that our conscious doesn't intentionally want. You know what I mean? You might, if you're the type of person to always be getting into trouble and stuff, you might want to stay low. Just stay low key, do your thing, and stay low. But this other part of your personality has not been acknowledged that it has its own intentions. So your intent, your conscious intent to stay low key, stay low, stay out of trouble, you know what I mean? Stay in school, have good grades, but then something bad happens. You get in a fight, you get into this, you get into that, you know what I mean? You harm another person or something. There are frightened parts of our personality, and they have different intentions than our soul or our intellect or our consciousness. And as much as they sound as different as they are, because they are different, but they're still inside of you, and you are one person who has the most godly control over all these frightened aspects about yourself. It's a part of your personality that has been suppressed due to societal norms. A lot of people, even if you don't even realize it, because you could realize this about yourself, but it's hard to grasp when you realize that other people think the same way you do about malicious thoughts. And what I mean by that is just violent ass thoughts, or just thinking about doing something violent. You know what I mean? Or even doing something violent. We are all capable of doing violent acts. But since we have societal norms, since we have morality, since we have, certain societal constructs that prevent this from happening, prevent us from committing violent acts, which is a good thing, but subsequently it suppresses those parts of our personality, and we start to do very unbiased actions and unbiased decisions, or even at worst contradicting decisions to what we intentionally want. Understand that we all have frightened parts of our personality, and they need healing. You know what I mean? And I don't mean you gotta be like some spiritual ass fucking monk in the middle of the fucking Buddhist mountains and shit. No, you don't gotta do that. But you have to acknowledge. Once you acknowledge it, you can then transmute it. For example, with anger, because Everyone has anger. Everyone's aggressive. You can transmute it. Now you still have anger, but you're using it in a more effective, any more beneficial, any more sufficient way. Instead of just yelling and arguing and, you know what I'm saying, maybe even throwing hands, you know what I mean? Or just fucking throwing shit at people. Whatever you do when you're angry. As in committing violence. You know what I mean? As in being violent. Instead of that, you can transmute it into like a martial arts. Or into like a certain form of like self-defense. As in, oh, you know how to fight. Like boxing, karate, taekwondo or something. You know what I mean? Jiu-jitsu. Whatever fits you. And then even in regular situations. Because with martial arts, it's an art that you learn, but you don't go out to the street and start fighting people for no reason. It's like a very rare circumstance when someone tries to fight you. Oh, you know all this goddamn martial arts, so you can handle it professionally. But in the contrast of someone disrespecting you, you could use your anger to step up to that, to step up for yourself and not let anyone disrespect you. You know what I mean? And if you have a very angerish, that's not even the word, I'm gonna be real. But look, if you have a very aggressive behavior, that's what I meant to say. If you have a very aggressive behavior, that is a good thing. It is a good thing. Because look, there's one thing to be very passive and very just everyone disrespecting me and I'm just letting it happen. But if you're angry, you can use that to your capabilities. But it's about acting with force and not being forceful. You understand what I'm saying? It's about having control over it. But with this example of anger, the solution is still anger, right? But just in a sense of now I'm controlling it and now I'm using it in ways that are benefiting me instead of ways that could risk my life or just not benefit me at all, or even worse. You know what I mean? But with other frightening parts of our personality, the same emotion cannot work to try and transmute the frightening parts of our personality. Anger can work with more anger, but just in certain circumstances and in certain practices and in certain hobbies. You could put your anger into the shit that you really love. If you like to write books, you could put your anger into writing them books. And as foolish as it may sound, it actually can work. Now you're fueling your energy into doing something. You know what I mean? If you play sports, you can use that anger into the field or into the court. I remember one time I was on a basketball team. I was like the whole team, not even just me, but the whole team. I was in basketball, right? It was like the basketball school team. The whole team basically was like so pissed. Everyone was so pissed that we were like losing like crazy. Like we didn't even score any points. Like we was down bad. We was so ass, right? But once it was like break time, once we were on the sidelines, I was talking to my friend and he said, use that anger on the court. I didn't understand what he meant, because I thought anger was just being violent and punching people and fighting people. But now you understand it's about transmuting it and using it to your effectiveness. Other parts of your personality, you can't really do like that. Fear, you can't cure your fear with more fear. Sometimes, with frightening parts of your personality, you need to acknowledge that the consequences that they create is not what you really want. And the way to cure these frightening parts of your personality is the same as anger. Acknowledge them, accept them, you know what I mean? Be conscious of them, be aware of them, and doing the exact opposite. If you're very timid, if you're very fearful, the best solution is being bold, right? if you're jealous or if you have a lot of envy, the best solution is being loving and showing your gratitude and your support and your appreciation. You see? Now, are we not trying to disregard the frightening parts of our personality? Because that's what society at the start was doing by the societal norms and stuff. Everybody thinks maliciously, but since we have societal norms, it prevents people from acting out on them. But at the same time, it's disregarding them. It's disregarding the frightening parts of our personality. We're not here to disregard the frightening parts of our personality, but we're here to acknowledge them and even like go to battle with them, kind of, if that makes sense. Like go to battle with them. Or like, not necessarily like start a conflict, but to like fuse them. You know what I mean? Start a battle. Instead of being fear and timid, you battle it by being bold. Instead of being envious and jealous, you battle it by being appreciative and loving. You see? That's how we can make better choices that we consciously want for ourselves. So now, not only are we getting to know ourselves on a better level, but now we're not making foolish decisions, and now we're not acting out on these frightening parts of our personality. Now we're using it to our benefits. So now we have the control, and that's the ultimate goal here. So now that we understand the frightening parts of our personality, and now that have we accepted and acknowledged the frightening parts of our personality, we can now put our will and our deliberate choice in between the impulses, and especially in between the actions we make off these frightening parts of our personality. And we can see several steps ahead, maneuvering past foolish decisions and stupid mistakes. And we could see the path that our frightening parts of our personality leads us to. And we could decide which path we want to take. And after that, with pure responsibility, we can now have more meaning into our life, because responsibility and meaning both go together. We could have more meaningful experiences and more meaningful relationships, and our whole lives can change once we practice this, because it's not going to happen instantly. It's not going to happen like that. It's a constant battle. It's a constant what was I going to say? Practice. A constant practice and a constant battle. A spiritual warfare that you have to face every time. But through your perseverance, you can now establish a new way of living and a new way of thinking, and most importantly, a new way of taking responsibility. Right? And from there, you can now be the creator of your life. Now you can assume responsibility for the circumstances and the people that come into your life. Now, you were in survival mode, but now you become a creator. And you create the life that you intentionally desire, because you don't let frivolous parts of your personality, well, they're not frivolous, but they are important, but the actions they take are frivolous. You don't let the frivolous acts take control of your life, because you become the creator. But look, man, this is Prince Aladdin, man. I hope you liked the video, man. Press subscribe, man. Like the video. Comment down below what you want to see next. And especially if you didn't understand a certain part of this video, please comment down below so I could really understand where you coming from. And without any further ado, man, I'm out. Peace.